Hello and welcome to reviewing day 3 of the official practice games. It is George from Fantasy Take TV. Today we discuss GWS versus Gold Coast, North versus the Dogs, and Melbourne versus the Tigers. Very exciting. So all the games are done. We'll wrap it up here with the reviews. And yeah, honestly, I came in today thinking I've changed my team so much over the past 2 days. I think it's set. And then the Western Bulldogs game happened. And we changed some more. So, oh boy, we'll get into it. But I think we'll start with the first game of the day. The Giants versus Gold Coast. The Giants still got a lot of talent on the list. What I noticed with them is I thought they played a bit more direct out the midfield. So, Green, Jelly, and Cornelio took 2 marks between them. So I don't know if that's a sign of things to come. But it's a slight flag. But nonetheless, we'll get into it. So the first name I have here is one Josh Kelly. Now, Kelly has not worked in the past, but I think this is his best shot of being a good starting pick over the past 4 or 5 years, just because new coach and CBAs are back up. That being said, I will never go back to Josh Kelly ever again. Hell no. Been there, done that. Been hurt before. Well, Lockie Whitfield. Again, Josh Kelly, 4 of the past 5 years, soft tissue injuries. Lockie Whitfield started hot, but too many chefs in the kitchen. They got Ash, they got Isaac coming back there. It's an absolute no, and we've owned Whitfield for many years now. It's same with Kelly. Why would you do that to yourself? Have some self-respect. Tom Green. I'm still not as sold on Tom Green as others. I think 30% ownership, so yeah, very popular. Consensus good pick. Just because I don't know if he'll run out games super well or if he'll run out of steam like last year. But he looks a bit fitter, looks leaner, and contested game is one of the best in the league. So he's in for me, and he's one where hopefully he's a keeper, if not a buy flip. And we'll figure that out as we go. The early fixture is too good, so we'll go and pick Tom Green. Was already in my team, but now he's in. Almost feels like a defensive pick because of his ceiling as well. But the next one is Finn Callahan, so made his way into a few teams. Considering him for my fantasy team, it's a no for me for Supercoach. I think wing role. I think early on, he had 2 intercepts fell in his lap, so I don't know what's that, 14, 16 points right there. So he's a no for me, mostly wing role. Don't think he got any CBAs. If he did, it would have been very low. But yeah, he looks a good player, very good player. Good ball user and high endurance. Just gets to the right spots all the time. So I think he can do 75, 80, just because I think wing role is just not super kind for scoring generally. So he's a no for me, but you could do a lot worse for 244k. So if you want to pick him, I think it's fine. I just think midfield slots are very precious this year. So he hasn't made the cut for me. Stephen Cornelio. Here's a problem with Cogs, and it's less to do with Cogs and more to do with your Tanner Bruin, your Errol Gordon, and then you got Rosie, Dunkley, and Taranto. And who do you give up here? So I think you almost have to pick Gordon. That's my view anyway. People might think, Mills will come back, he'll regress to, I don't know, 90 average or something. Gordon's performance was so frightening that I just want to pick him just so I don't miss out on potential high ceiling games. Dunkley's untouchable, end of story. And then Taranto. Well, Taranto's 500k and the CBAs are going up, and he's been in most of our teams for the entire preseason, so he doesn't go. Rosie had 80% CBAs, so I think he stays and he's a bit cheaper. So it leaves Cornelio, and I'm still considering him, and I'd like to pick him, but just because he's a bit more expensive and I like the others a lot, I think he's one I might give up, but I'd like to fit him in nonetheless. He had low time on ground today, but I think he scored an 80, but not his fault. He cupped a knock, went off for a bit, would have turned up. The only excuse I can really make for getting rid of him is he's a little bit, he seems to cop knocks here and there, and he's never played 22 games. That's pretty much all I can say negative on him, because I love Cogs, love watching him play, and I'm a big believer in him. But yeah, I think it's more to do with the other players around him than Cogs himself, other than, maybe slight durability here and there, but usually plays most games. So I think tick if you're really hot on him, tick today. But if you're looking for someone to make room, if you need to make room in your forward line, I think it's Cogs. I'm not sure though. But yeah, I think I give Cogs a tick for today. He looked fine. CBAs were good. Another one, rookie Connor Stone, like same as a lot of these other forward rookies, they're just not great. So the one that I don't mind is Chandler, because he's in a good team. So that can help him a little bit. But even like him, I'm not even sure I want to pick him. It's just best of the worst. I think Fergus Green is the one I like though. He can kick many goals. So yeah, GWS players, I've got Green. The rest, maybe Cogs. The rest are no for me. We'll move on to Gold Coast. Jerome Whitler was very good again. I think he sat out I think he played the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and then just decided to sit out. I think they sat Anderson, they sat Rao for a bit, and they just put like Davies more in the mid. They put Fiorini in the midfield. But Witts was very good, and Bruce is not an easy matchup, and he destroyed Bruce. Bruce, I don't know what his deal is. Like, he had to WWE move on somebody. Just, I don't know what his, like, he can't help himself. So, regardless, I like Witts. I think what's happened is English I was never picking. All of a sudden, Max Gawn, who we'll get to, and then Sean Darcy's looking like peak Sean Darcy. So, he's competing with those guys. I think he's a solid option. He's definitely the most durable one. He looks really good. And he turned up with and set out a quarter, and he has that nice Laddams matchup who's battling knee tendonitis in round 1. So for me, it's him or Darcy, and I got to figure out what to do. I think the 40k from Darcy is nice, but yeah, I thought Witts was fantastic. He looks really fit. He took 2 marks today. Not a lot, but I feel like he barely took any marks at all for the entire year last year. So a bit better around the ground, looks aggressive. Loved his game last week, loved his game this week. Started a bit slow, but worked his way into it. Probably doesn't have the like the ceiling like a Darcy can do your 170 or 190 like he did a few years ago. I don't think Witts has that in him, but I still do like him. So it's something to weigh up. If they were the same price, I'd go for Witts just because you got the durability there. I don't know. It's a hard one. I don't know. I think he's good though. Tick for Witts. Rao and Anderson. So Rao I don't know. He's just doesn't look like the old Rao. I will say he did a few. He was a bit more explosive today, I thought though, which was good, but just not proven to score well enough yet. So I don't think you can go there, but he should have it somewhere in him. And then Anderson, they took him off. It was just a nothing game for Anderson. So if you're hot on Anderson, this game did nothing to discourage you. But if you're looking for a reason to pick Anderson, well, you didn't really get one today. So that's all I have for Gold Coast, I believe. No, I don't. I have Constable and King. So Charlie Constable, tick. Started hot, finished kind of slow, but halfback role, kick-ins. I think they said his best 22. They'll give him opportunity. Does he get dropped? I don't know. I think he'll stay in the team. And Ben Long wasn't incredible today, so I think Constable will stay in. I think you pick him and you chuck him at D6. I'm not even going to put King on the field. No, don't pick King. All right, moving on to the Western Bulldogs and North. And honestly, people say, why do you love the Bulldogs so much? Why are they your second team? They just score so many Supercoach points. It's just so fun to watch. And I think I love all their players, how reliable they are, and their brand of footy. It's just fun, very fun to watch. So, we'll start off with the big dog mids. Bont, Lock. Jack Macrae. Macrae's an interesting case. So he didn't have many. He looked good out there, and he ran out the game well. Was still looking for marks. I think the marks were up, which was encouraging. But against North, how much do you want to read into it? Low tackles, low contested ball, so wasn't doing as much in and under stuff as I would have liked. That went to Bailey Smith. Bailey Smith had 18 contested, but in a practice game, there's no reason for McRae to work his ass off for all the, the dirty work, because he'll do that all year. I still like McRae, and I think I'll pick him. I've been tossing up between McRae and Steele, and I needed a reason to pick him, and I just wanted a reason, and I didn't really get it, even though I think he'll be fine. And I think McRae, his CBAs were only 59%, which is not good, but they only ran 5 midfielders. And they all had about 60% each. I think Trelaw maybe 40, and everyone else had about 60 odd. So yeah, no sign of McLean in the midfield, no sign of Daniel in the midfield, although they did have injuries and Daniel had to go back. But regardless, I don't think that role will continue. So I think they're just going to run the 5 mids the whole year, which would be my guess, but who knows with Bevo. I still think the doubts around Jack McRae are that he was running out games poorly last year, and yeah, just had a bit of a drop off. So, but he looks good. Looks really good in the preseason. And the role should, there should be more points with no Dunkley to go around. Even if the CBA is 59, you would have liked to see more than that. I'm interested to hear other podcasts' take on this one, because this is one that stumped me a lot. But I prefer him out of the 600k boys. He's the one I prefer the most at the moment. So I think I'll pick McRae, but I'm not 100% sure. It's just probably him or Oliver, depending on how much money I have in the bank. Bailey Smith was pretty good. A bit of interrupted preseason, and he's missed a few games here and there, had a few niggles, so he's a no for me. But yeah, he looks good, and I think he'll get there one day to be a top 12 mid. So I don't think there's a big enough reason to pick him though, but he looks really good, really fit. I will knock this one out. Tim English is just an easy no for me. It's just a practice game, but 2 soft tissue injuries in preseason is absolute no for me. So I don't care if he looked like Dean Cox out there. He's a no for me. The story. And we'll get to some of these cheap defenders. So we'll chuck them both in. So Crozier and Liam Jones. I think I'm going to pick one of them. So I had Crozier's been in my team for a week or two whenever I did from when I watched the Dogs Intra Club, because he was on kick-ins. But what happened was Jure went down with a neck issue, and Richards went down. And then Crozier went down probably, I don't know, halfway through the third or something. So he was on, his TOG was only about 53, but he scored 79, but was getting scaled up. So yeah, basically 80 off, 55 TOG roughly. So he was looking for marks. They were giving it to him a bit. It took 6 marks, so he was actually pretty good. So yeah, like looking for space on a wing and stuff like that. I think he'll score okay. It's just when Richards goes down, Jure goes down, it's very hard to get a proper read on what's actually going on down back. I think he's best 22, but yeah, his injury. So apparently Jure is fine, and Rosie's issue was he had like bone sticking out of his hand and just requires stitches and should be okay for round 1, from what I read on Big Footy. Maybe we'll wait on proper news, but regardless, it's probably a good sign. So I don't mind him, but you got Liam Jones as well. And Liam Jones, this is your classic, people are going to jump on him because he scored 100 odd. But yeah, 19 touches, took 11 marks, and the intercept game was strong. His one-on-one is phenomenal. Really, really good. Although he wasn't playing North, so yeah, not the best opposition, but you're gonna get some really bad games. But he looks like a top key defender, and he was one a few years ago. So yeah, he was top of I want to say top 5 for intercepts when he last played, and there's no reason why he can't do that again. He's a bit older now, but he's been saying he's really fit and all that, and he's looked great in the preseason. I'm considering him because I need to fill out this defense, because I'm trying to grab all these mid prices in the midfield and forward line and premiums as well. So I think I'll end up with one of Crozier or Jones. Crozier, I think, will score more, but Jones has the job security wrapped up. So I don't know. I'll probably lean Jones just because of the job security in terms of not being sub. But honestly, think Crozier can average 85, 80. Jones probably 70. Maybe I should play for ceiling, but yeah, I don't know. I think that's something I'll need to think about, but I do not mind both. Jones wasn't really on my radar just because you expect him to average 70, but if he's got a high ceiling like that, which we knew he had, I don't know, maybe I'm just seduced by a score here, but yeah, let me know what you think of Liam Jones if you want. Yeah, Ed Richards. I already wrote Ed Richards off just because Crozier was taking the kick-ins. I thought Richards would, but it didn't happen. I think Richards is also a versatile defender, so he can play tall. We might have to play lockdown if they require him, but for the most part, I think they want him as halfback rebounding. Another one was Baker. So I took Baker out of the team. I thought he was like a VFL player based on his intra-club. He was really, really poor, I thought, but this game, I thought he was more half forward than wing to my eye. He was outstanding. Scored 110, was everywhere. So yeah, lock him in on your bench. He earned himself around one spot for sure. And the next one is a hard one. So Toby McLean. He's playing a bit of wing and a bit of half forward and a bit of small forward, and he's not getting much time around the ball, which is what he got in that final. So I think he's just a role player for them. I would like to pick him still, but I don't want him on the field because the role is terrible. And do you want to pay 180k on your bench? Not really. I'll probably end up with him on the bench, and it's going to be annoying, but I think I prefer him to a lot of the, like, yeah, Davey or your Chessa or whoever on the bench, even Chandler. So we'll see if the structure fits, but I wouldn't be moving mountains to just get him onto the bench because you're going to hurt your on-field. Now, can you still field him? I think maybe you could because I think he's better than this, but I do worry about bleeding points if he is on field. Yeah, I don't want him on field, so it's either bench or don't pick him for me. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell because he's better than this, but whatever. Moving on to North. The first name I have here is Powell. Moderate interest in Tom Powell. Too much forward. No, not enough CBAs. Would have been 20%. I read somewhere. So 20% CBAs not enough. LDU, as I said with Anderson, if you were hot on him, here's the thing, they played North, so he looked amazing last week, so if you're still hot on him, you're probably happy that this game happened, just because people aren't going to jump on him, and we know what he's capable of, what he did post-buy, but if you're looking for a reason to pick him, well, this was not the game. He scored terrible, 50-odd, but it was a practice game, and against probably the toughest midfield to score against in the league, in the Dogs. I never really considered him. I just trust other guys a bit more, but I think there's no reason why he can't do the 105 to 110 range. But yeah, I'm not interested. Comben, I have as a rookie here. We'll go Cunnington. Cunnington was very good. Lots of contested ball. I think they actually want him in the midfield. I guess the problem is he's a bit older, did a calf last year. So he's still a no for me. But he's good. He's very good. He's a gun. And again, they've stated that they want to use him more forward as well. So for that reason, he's a no. I just think there's too many good options. But I think you could do a lot worse than Cunnington. And if you do like him, go for it. Harry Sheezel. This is a no for me. Fantasy, I'll be picking him because he's cheap equivalent. So I think in fantasy, if it was the same pricing system, he'd be around 160k, which would be good. I don't want him on field. I know that he's good around the ball. He tackles. He's got a good work rate, and he's a very talented player, and he'll be up there in the rising star. I don't want him on field because he scored nothing up until the first three quarters until they switched him back, where he had like a 30, 40 point quarter at halfback. And I think he's better utilised in the forward half of the ground. So he's a pass for me. I think he can do 65, 70, which is okay. But I think that's best case. Probably more realistically 60 to 65. It just depends on how they want to use him. If they throw him at halfback for half a game, then he'll probably do 75. If they play him half forward for most of the game, which is what it seems like they'll do, well, it's going to be very hard to clear 65. Put it that way. So he's I'm not paying 200k for that. There's just too many good options everywhere in the forward line. So he's a no. Did we talk about Sam Flanders? No, we didn't. We need to talk about Sam Flanders. Got him right here and I forgot to talk about him. We'll finish off North. Lost from up to. So yeah, Will Phillips. Again, I think he's still fieldable. I think he can do 70 with a decent inside mid-time. But one of the issues with Phillips is, well, today he played the Dogs, so it's a tough matchup. I didn't see anything that screams that he's going to be like a star rookie for us, but I think he'll be good enough at the price and they'll give him opportunity. I think he's, yeah, I like him M9 or M8 with Mackenzie, and then you try and figure out which one to field. So that is North. We'll get to Sam Flanders. So Flanders is a very important one. Do apologise for missing that. Flanders was in my team the entire preseason, and then I saw his practice game, the first one, and he played really good, but no CBAs, so I took him out. But I did mention when I did the review that he could be a sneaky one. I think I'm going to pick him because he had 30 touches today of half forward, and I think when two comes in for Davies, I would imagine, who played decent mid-time today. So it's a weird one where it's fundamentally wrong because the CBAs aren't there, but we can see that high half forwards can score. And you got to be really damn good high half forward, like a Dylan Moore, to actually score anything. Or even Heaney when he was playing half forward, when he's half forward. So yeah, you need to be like insanely good. And I actually think he is, because he got 30 at half forward today. He's been all the rave all preseason. 45 touches in his last 3 VFL games each, something like that in the final series. Took will come in, take more points. They did take Anderson off. And I think Rao as well off early, so probably helped him a little bit, score well late. But he's around the ball a lot and he works really hard to get to the ball, and his work rate's good. He moves quick from contest to contest. There's no reason why you would, like, why would you pick Sheasel when you can pay 50k for Flanders, unless you like desperately needed the 50k? Because I think Flanders can go put 20, 25 points on Sheasel. Yeah, I'd like to pick him at F6. I think I will. I think he can do 80, 85, which isn't that great. So I'm not married to the pick, but I don't know. I just think he's a gun. And he might have a few spike games in there. But yeah, 30 disposals at half forward is pretty good. And you can say that it's a preseason game, it's a fluke. I don't think it is a fluke because we've been tracking this for months now. Anyway, I think we'll move on to Melbourne versus Richmond. So I think we need to make some room here. Get rid of these. Get rid of English. So Gawn and Grundy. So again, you know, they said there was some video saying that Grundy 70, Gawn 30 is bullshit because they did 50-50 today. So Grundy's a no more forward, and I still think Gawn, he scored like 150, kicked 3 goals. I think Gawn you just monitor for forward status, which I think it sounds like if you're getting 50% CBAs, well, he's going to get forward status. I think you just wait for him to get forward status, you pick your ruckman, and then you leave him forward. And you move him forward, and he's your cover, and you got your 2 rucks, and you got your cover for the year. Would you start him and move him? Yeah, I think so, but it's hard to pay 620k for someone that's getting 50% CBAs. I know he did good today, but yeah, it's going to cut his ceiling a bit, and I think he'll have his monster games, but there will be games where maybe Grundy scores better, for example. So I think he'll come down a bit, and you pick him up a little bit cheaper. So I think it's fine, but I'm just preferring to wait. In here, we'll go, oops. So Clary and Track. So I think Clary was just there for shits and giggles. He kicked a torp out of nowhere for no reason. He went for a run out the middle where he just kept running and running. I reckon he ran about 70, 80 meters just because he didn't pass it off. When probably in a game he would have, just for fun. So I think he just whatever, wanted to feel the wind in his hair today. Love Clary, but I think I'm leaning Laird for I don't know, just Laird's more points for him to absorb in the Crows midfield. I've said Clary over Laird all preseason, but I don't know, I'm thinking Laird over Clary. The only thing was they started him at half back for some reason, and they did flag that, but I think that's bullshit. I don't think that holds. So CBAs were under 70 today when they used to be 85 plus. So that's the only slight flag on that. Is it enough reason for me to put Laird above Oliver? Probably not, but I don't know. I kind of like Laird because I know he's going to be the main man forever in that midfield, or this year, even though Oliver will be too, but I don't know. Surely they don't pull something stupid. Petrarca's low CBAs. He's a no for me because I don't know if they're trying to have a bit more versatility. So I could see him being a candidate to get forward status. So he's a no for me. Angus Brayshaw's never really interested in Angus Brayshaw. Get rid of this. Never really been interested in Brayshaw and wasn't really swayed that way today. I don't know if he was on kick-ins, but he didn't get him last year, and I think he'll be mostly half-back this year. Even with Viney out. So he's a no for me. If he moves into the midfield at some point and they keep him there, then I'll be interested in him, but not at half-back. Just no kick-ins is not good enough. So he's a no. Chandler in the forward line. He was good. He could have got a 70 if he kicked straight. I think he kicked 1 goal 3, but not Spargo. Yeah, he could have scored 70, but yeah, I like him. I think he's had a great preseason. He's looked really good. He went missing for a large patch, but such is the life of a forward. And yeah, at least he's playing for a good team, unlike your Combin or Stone. Well, GWS might be good, to be fair, but I think Melbourne are better. So he's, I still like him the most for FA. It just depends on if anything better pops up, which I don't think there is. Maybe you want to run McLean there or something. I don't know. And then McVee, 4 disposals, 80% TOG. What was he doing, bro? I just think the job security is just quite on edge here, but maybe they give him a go because he was quite good the week before. We saw with Baker in the Inch Club was poor this week, blows it out of the park. McVee, I think 16 touches last week, 4 this week, so you can always bounce back. It's kind of hard to pick him though if his most recent game was 4 disposals of 80% time on ground. So I thought you could even possibly field him because of the halfback role, but not after that. Moving on, wrap it up with Richmond quickly. This is so messy picking plays like this, but if you look at this side, you'll know who I'm talking about. Taranto, I think lock him in, high CBA role. Prestia was out, so it probably inflated his score a bit. But yeah, it's going to be the main man in that midfield. Jacob Hopper. Hopper was, I don't think he was that good, but he's just at the coalface so often, and that's his strength, and that's where the points are. So he's cheap, not enough reason to take him out. So I'll tick for Hopper. I dare say that I don't think Hopper's the clear number 1 best 330 or 300k mid-pricer. I think it's actually quite even across the board. I think they're all very good. Well, not all of them, but quite a few of them are quite good. So that's Samson Ryan in the ruck. Came on late, took a few marks. Looked alright, but the sting was out of the game. A few shots on goal. I think he's depth if they need ruck cover. Then Short, they kind of just moved him. Started half back, I think moved to half forward. So yeah, I don't think... I'm looking Jaden Short there. So yeah, I don't think you can pick Short this year because he's versatile apparently. I still think that he's better at halfback, but they like him versatile. They like him everywhere, so that's fine. So that's the video. I think yeah, changes I made to my team this today. What did I do? I had Crozier and I just swapped in for Jones, but I don't know. I'll pick one of the two, I think. Then I had a midfield slot. I think I went Oliver down to McRae. Don't know if I want to do that, but I really needed the money to do that. What else did I do? I think that was actually it. No changes for the Melbourne game or Tigers game. I'm still tossing up between Wits and Darcy, as in Shrek, but I don't know. Then the GWS game, I think I had already taken Cogs out last night for Gordon, but I'd like to pick Cogs though. Anyway, that's it from me. I think we'll do a few more videos over the next few days. We'll do our team reveals this week, so we'll do them a bit in advance of round 1, so that's always exciting, so stick around for that. Like, subscribe, all that. I don't think I've ever asked for that in 5 years of doing this, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, thanks for everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.